ADHDS females, ADHDAF, ADHDS females, the podcast.
Hi, I'm Dawn.
Hi, I'm Laura, and we are ADHDAF. Seriously. We are two neurodivergent neighbours who moved to the same street at the same time, at the same age, with the same undiagnosed disability. What are the chances?
Since discovering the enormous impact ADHD has had on our lives and the horrifying numbers of missing undiagnosed females, it has become our mission to make some serious noise.
We want to use our voices to raise awareness, break the stigma, and share our experiences in the hope that they help others.
So join us for a chat, or as it's called up here in Aberdeen, a blether.
Trigger warning, we will be covering some really sensitive topics, so please do have a read of the description of each episode before listening.
It's important to note that we are not medical professionals, we're not therapists or coaches, we're not qualified to offer advice or support. What we will do is share our experiences alongside resources and information from professionals. We will talk over each other and we will go off topic and forget the point mid-sentence.
We are both assigned female at birth, which means that we can only speak from the experience of life as AFAB people. However, ADHDAF is an inclusive space. Whatever your gender, you are very welcome here.
Yes, you are.
ADHDS females, ADHDAF.
Action.
Are we starting? I was just about to put something on the story.
You can.
No, it's fine. You could probably leave that in. It's quite funny, actually.
I probably will.
Inattentive much? Well, somebody's very inattentive.
Apparently so. Yeah, so you might already be aware that this episode is a bonus to talk about my official medical ADHD diagnosis.
I moved away from the screen in the hope that I didn't damage anybody's screen. The mic, in the hope I didn't damage anybody's ears then. But we are very excited. I'm elated. Dawn's exhausted.
Yeah, it's
been
weird.
a lot.
It's a weird kind of feeling because obviously I've gone through the whole diagnosis process with an educational psychologist last year. So I kind of had that moment of validation and relief and
relief.
Yeah, that big kind of like, well, when he told me, he's like, yeah, you have ADHD, I kind of instantly broke down.
Yeah.
Like just years of being hard on myself, instantly realizing that, hold on, it's not your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
So I already kind of had that moment, but it's been a weird one. I just felt exhausted last night after
I think
the news.
I think that's it. It's like you've been carrying this weight on your shoulders for so long, as so many of you know how that feels, and so many of you still are, and we're sorry to those that are suffering still in limbo. But especially the last little bit, that weight's just got heavier and heavier. And so you've just been trying to get on and not think of it and, chasing your tail with this thing looming over you. And now you've put it down, you're suddenly realising how exhausted you are. I think on top of that, just to say, like, I've definitely really noticed lately the imposter syndrome really creeping up on you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because obviously in our group, in our Patreon, what's it called? Discord. There you go. I'll get round to the lingo at some point. On our Discord, obviously a lot of people, we're saying like, don't, you're not alone in your imposter syndrome, blah, blah, blah. But it still bites you in the arse. And you were like, oh, what if this podcast is all for nothing? What if I should get my tattoo removed? What if I don't have ADHD? Imposter syndrome times a million has crept in harder and harder. As
even
it's
though
got
I
closer.
know, even though I fully know I have ADHD, it's still there.
Yeah.
And it's just that fear that, you're outed as a fraud. And
because we all have that self-worth, because you've spent all these years feeling inept, feeling not good enough. It's like to take that away from your identity even is like, oh no, actually that's quite a lot to take on.
So it's just been a lot of emotions, and I think over the past month or two I've been struggling like mentally as well, just trying not to put too much hope into this because like as we heard previously with what happened with my NHS assessment ordeal, like I just didn't want to put all my eggs into this basket.
And have your hopes dashed again.
Yeah, and have everything shattered again and not knowing. So it was really nice.
Self-protective.
That's it. It is protecting myself, absolutely. But it was really nice to get that validation last night. And yeah.
So talk us through it then.
Okay, well, I initially had my NHS assessment appointment ordeal on the 4th of October, to then be told it was going to be another 4 months until my next appointment. And I didn't know how many appointments I would need after that to actually get a diagnosis, because nothing was being disclosed.
And they said it's 8 hours worth.
Well, they said it usually takes around 8 hours time with a patient to diagnose them.
So if it was 2 hours and then 4 months and then 2 hours, like how long are we talking?
It's just the lack of communication that was really difficult. And I knew I didn't have four months kind of left in me to wait. And then I had the pressure of uni and everything and my assessment time looming and knowing that I'm already struggling. Yeah. And I really am, like properly struggling with my uni stuff. But thankfully I've managed to get all my hand-ins done for the semester. And hopefully by next semester there will be extra help in place to help me get through that.
Yes.
So, yeah. So that was on the 4th of November. So after that...
4th of October.
4th of October, yes, sorry. So after that appointment with the NHS, I then contacted my doctor, and that's when I made the decision to go private. And I could have only have done that with the help of the listeners and everyone that supported us through our Buy Me a Coffee.
Just can't say thank you enough.
Yeah, I cannot thank you guys enough, because this is genuinely going to change my life. So, I contacted my GP because I needed to make sure that they were going to accept shared care. And that was something that anyone should do if you're going for a private diagnosis.
It what this process has taught us.
Yeah, it really has.
Speaking to Nicole Nadler, who had her shared care denied, we were clued up in knowing that if you this is proper advice. If you decide to go private, ask your doctor, do you accept this one?
Yeah.
And if they say no, you say, okay, whose will you accept? And whatever they say, why not get it in writing too?
Get it in writing, or get them to directly refer you to that private clinic, which is what my doctor did. So I spoke to a lovely doctor who was really sympathetic and understanding. And she said, look, I'll refer you. And then what will happen once you get your appointment, any notes, anything like that will then get passed directly back to me with your prescription or whatever you choose to do, so that, you don't have to kind of
keep battling. And so it's the Priory Aberdeen, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Priory Group Aberdeen is who I got referred to. And it must have been the 5th of October was when I phoned the doctor and got this and spoke to the doctor to get this referral. And I had an appointment booked by the 14th of November. And that includes a week that the doctor, the psychiatrist, was on holiday.
So it could have only been 3 weeks had he not been on holiday.
Yeah, so it could have been a lot sooner had he not been on holiday. But yeah, so it was quite a quick turnaround. And then I had my initial appointment, which was around, what was it, about an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Via Zoom.
Yeah, via Zoom.
Yeah.
So it was an hour, went through everything with him. And then he said that he wanted me to fill out some forms, just a questionnaire. He wanted me to fill out a questionnaire and someone close to me that's known me for a long time to fill out a questionnaire. Plus, I had my school reports and I had my educational psychologist report as well. So he asked me to send them to him as well. And he was also going to speak to a friend of mine that I'd had from childhood.
Yes. So in that first appointment, he basically said, this won't be it. This isn't your diagnosis today.
Yeah. And he said at the end of that first appointment as well, he did tell me, he's like, look, having looked at everything, he's like, I can't see any other concerns, any other psychiatric concerns that we need to worry about. Yeah. So everything is pointing in the directions that we want it to be for this diagnosis.
Yeah.
So it was just a case of getting all this paperwork back to him for the next appointment, which was booked on the 8th of December, which was yesterday.
Yeah, so it's like another 3 weeks, give or take.
Yeah. In the end, he didn't need to contact my friend. He had enough information, he said, based on the educational psychologist report that he read, which obviously says
Yeah.
I'm in full belief. There's no reason to believe that this woman does not have ADHD.
Yeah.
Like it's
It said at the bottom, she is ADHDAF.
pretty much.
Signed.
Yeah, so he's like, I can see that on the report. So he's like, I didn't feel like any need to contact your friend to get any more information. So he showed me the graph, essentially. So he says there's two scoring like charts that they do. There's the British scoring system and the American scoring system. Now, he said the difference is that the threshold for diagnosis on an American system is lower than the British one. But he showed me the graph. Essentially, there's 4 things that you're marked on. So focus and attentiveness is one. Then you have hyperactivity, which is the second one. Impulsivity, and then the final one is self-worth, self-confidence thing. But he's like, it's not necessarily like a big one that they pay too much attention to. But
in terms of criteria to meet. I just want to say well done for remembering all 4, because I was thinking about it while you were saying it and I couldn't.
Well, I couldn't remember it last night when I was telling you. So that was the 4 things. And he showed me the graphs. He showed me the one based on what he had marked my scores on, and then he also showed me the graph based on what my friend had scored me on the questionnaire as well. And he says, as you can see, they're both very similar.
Can I just say as well how funny that your friend messaged you to say, I'm really sorry that I've scored you so high on these, but I had to tell the truth. Like, I hope you're not offended, kind of thing. And it was actually, we went for a beach walk and Dawn was saying, so she marked me. I was like, well, what? And she was like, 3 on this or this. What was the one that you said you wouldn't have scored yourself?
I didn't score myself so high on, it was, are you always on the go?
Yes,
or
that's
like feel like you're driven by a motor and
on
can't
the go.
stay still. And I'd marked myself low on that because I'd actually been comparing myself like to the likes of Laura and being like, well, she's more on the go than me. So
which is completely not true because Dawn books herself too many things in to do in a week. So in that respect, like, you are literally all on the go, which is why it is interesting and good to have had that perspective, because it's how you view yourself isn't necessarily like how it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think it's really important to note is stop comparing yourself to other people.
Yes.
Like, you need to just look at yourself and how it affects you, because once you start comparing yourself, it's so easy to look at someone else and be like, oh, well, I'm not as bad as them, or I'm worse than them, or this and that and the other.
Because I'd have scored you high on that as well. Like, any time, like for weeks and weeks and weeks, that's part of like what we've done in trying to simplify things and trying to get it so that you can leave work. Is it's always been like trying to look at a week and it'd be like, well, Monday I've got this, and then I've got this, and then I've got this, and Tuesday I've got that, and blah, blah. I can do half an hour on Saturday and be like, Christ, that's how it is.
That's it. So it was interesting that, my friend had marked me up higher on some of them than I would have marked myself.
Yeah.
But the graphs in themselves were really similar as to what we marked, what we were marked on.
So the marks were broken down into graphs, like to look at.
Yeah, to look at, and the shape of the graph from what my friend had filled in and what I'd filled in were fairly similar. And same with the American marking system and the British marking system.
Yeah.
Again, the graphs were quite similar, but obviously it's slightly higher in the American one because
it's the threshold. Yeah.
So everything's marked in a percentile. So like for each of the 4 categories. And I got top marks for inattentiveness.
No.
Which is no surprise because I have got the attention span of a gnat. I can't focus in conversations.
There was that time you forgot my name.
Yeah. Like, I struggle. Even when I'm sitting doing this, like my mind's going a million miles an hour and I'm just trying to like
focus,
harness all of my energy into focusing, but I know that thoughts are going everywhere, and that's why I struggle in conversations and can never figure out what I'm trying to say, and why I get annoyed with myself because I've become inarticulate because I don't have a clue what
your attention's just being pulled in those directions at once.
So 100% there, and then the other 3 for hyperactivity, impulsivity, and the self-worth, self-confidence section, they were all between 70 and 80%. So all still fairly high within the threshold. But yeah.
What is the threshold?
I think, I'm not actually sure. I should probably have asked that.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say, I think it's this, but that would be a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so it's essentially combined type ADHD.
Yeah.
But definitely the inattentive one is the one that's
The higher one.
my bugbear.
I don't know my breakdown.
Yeah. But it was really interesting that I
Yeah.
got that. Like I was really impressed that it was well explained to me and I got a full breakdown,
Yeah.
got shown the graphs so that I could really understand what this
Yeah.
all meant.
I'm going to ask.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Why not? So yeah, that was super interesting. And then at the end of it, obviously, that was it confirmed really that I have ADHD. I'm getting a resources pack sent out to me.
Well, what is this?
I don't know, but we will touch back on that when it
Yeah.
arrives. I was also advised, it was quite funny, he advised me a book to read. I can't remember, he said he was sending this out or he was going to let me know what this book
Yeah.
is. He's like, there's a really good book that you should have a read of. And I said, well, do you have this on audio?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no one's ever asked me that before. And I was like, well, has anyone scored 100% on the inattentive scale? Because I can't read a book with my attention
Or did anybody
span.
just get the book and not read it?
Yeah.
Probably.
I was like, I can't read a book. I need an audio book or something. But
Yeah.
I was like, maybe once I start my medication, I'll be able to read this book.
Yes, so on to that. So
So the next step was, what do you want to do going forward? Are you interested in medication? What's the next steps? And obviously I said I would like to give medication a try, see if it's right for me. I would also be interested in some coaching.
would they do coaching?
Well, I wouldn't get that through the private clinic.
That would be through NHS, so that would be a wait.
Yeah, or that would be, I'd have to source that for myself
Yes,
privately or
okay.
whatever. So
Yeah.
I said that, I'd like to combine coaching with the meds. That would be my kind of aim.
Yes,
So,
because you've already got a therapist which you speak to through the NHS.
yes,
Yeah.
talking therapy, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to write me up a prescription
Mm-hmm.
and put this across referral to my GP. And I am going to get started on Ritalin.
Yes. So first of all, he said you had to call the nurse.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's going to put the referral through with the prescription, and before I can get that prescription, I need to set up an appointment with a nurse to get my ECG, blood pressure, weight.
Mm-hmm. Did he say ECG?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to put that across on the letter to
Yeah.
my doctor.
Yeah.
He said, in the meantime, just phone up and get that nurse's appointment booked. And he's like, and they'll meet in the middle.
Yeah,
He's like, by
so
the
they'll
time
know
the
what it's
referral
about.
comes through and you get that appointment, everyone will know
Yeah.
why you're there. And as soon as that's done and all going well, touch wood,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get started on the meds.
Yeah, so he said that you would have a med review at the end of January. So that's helpful. That's hopeful.
Yes.
That it means this is all going to happen
So
quite quickly.
I already have my next appointment with him, which is the 25th of January. So he is going to start me on Ritalin.
Which I was really surprised
Yeah,
about.
so I asked him why Ritalin over other choices, and he said that this is the one that they try first. This is the one they have the most success rate with.
Mm-hmm.
So they are going to try me on Ritalin first.
Mm-hmm.
I did laugh because it's 3 tablets a day.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I said, do the tablets help you remember
to take the
the
tablets.
tablets? And he said, if you remember it, take the tablets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. If I'm ever on any medications that I have to take at regular intervals, I'll never finish a proper course of
Yeah,
antibiotics.
like I really struggle with just one. So
Um,
like I have to have like a pill box, which is the days of the week,
Yeah.
which most of the time I've remembered to refill at the right point. That has happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
But then I take it in the morning and it will be like noon or something. I'll suddenly go, oh no, did I take that? And I'll have to go and look at what day is missing and I'll be like, no, I have taken it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I won't know and then I'll be worried that I'd be double dosing. So yeah, I am a bit worried about that. You're definitely we're gonna have to think of a hack, like a system, to make sure, because it's more the fact that you know you've taken it or not.
I've already ordered myself a pill box
Yeah.
for a weekly pill box 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to get that ordered. So I'm going to be started on Ritalin, 5 milligrams 3 times a day for the first week, going up to 10 milligrams 3 times a day until my next appointment on the 25th of January.
Mm-hmm.
So my worry is obviously taking the pills regularly. I don't have any concern that I won't be able to take the first pill in the morning. That
yeah.
will be easy for me.
Yeah.
I wake up, I'll have it beside my bed,
Yeah,
and
done.
it'll get taken. That's not an issue. And my problem isn't forgetting to take the other ones. My problem is if I'm not at home, it's taking those tablets with me.
Yeah.
So in a
Yeah.
way, I feel like I need to set up a system so that I've got tablets in different places.
Do you know what? So one thing that's just come into my mind was like, I was like, oh yeah, when you said I've ordered a pill box that has got 3 things in it, I was like, oh yeah, didn't even know that was a thing. So that's my system. So that works because you can see there's 3 in each day.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know that. But I think maybe what would be even better, perhaps, is if you just have the morning one in that, and then if you always have the same bag. Do you always have the same bag wherever you're going? No.
It depends. I've got my uni bag, and then I've got, like, if I'm just like heading into town, I use tote bags a lot of the time. I don't really use a handbag.
But if there's a way, like even a bum bag, like just one that you buy that you put in every single bag that you take, but it's then remembering to switch that over. But if you, sorry, my brain's just going at like solutions, but I suppose whatever it is that you keep your card or money in, something that you always have to have with you. If you had, say, just like a big enough purse, something like bum bag size that you could have, the pill pot with the other 2, and then you always keep your money in it, then you're always going to remember to take it because you have to take your money with you or something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure it out. It's not going to be easy, but yeah, it's more forgetting to take it with me. If I'm at home, I'll be able to set up reminders on my phone, and I'm not going to forget to take it. It's just whether I have it available to take it is my problem.
Well, let's just bloody hope that these pills magically make you remember to take pills.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 5 milligrams 3 times a day for the first week, going up to 10 milligrams 3 times a day thereafter until my appointment on the 25th of January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who is on the Ritalin, do tell us how you get on and how you figure that out.
Yeah.
So let's talk money.
Maybe don't give me any of the nightmare stories.
Yeah, just tell us positive
positive
solutions.
things, positive stories only, please, because
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
here for negativity.
Yeah. So tell us about costs. So thank God for the wonderful people that have donated to our Buy Me a Coffee page, that they funded you being able to do this, or else you
Yeah.
would still be in limbo and you really were not okay. So it's really, really, I can't even speak now. Massive thanks to them for doing that. So how much did it cost altogether?
Okay, so the initial appointment was £250. And then the second appointment was 125, and then every appointment thereafter is 125. So by the time I have my next appointment in January, that will have been £500.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if I want to keep checking in with that psychiatrist
you do
going
have
forward, which really, I mean, having seen him and spoken to him and dealt with him, like, he's fantastic.
I honestly think, I know we spoke about this before, but I just suddenly remembered that's the shared care part.
Yeah.
So the
Well, that's
GP
exactly
is
what it
going to
is,
write
yeah.
the prescription, but that person, that psychiatrist is a person who is responsible for your meds reviews, who is responsible for checking in, and then they are meant to advise the GP that they should keep giving that prescription.
Yeah.
So it will be. It
Yeah.
will be that same person. So
He did say that I could then get transferred into the NHS system at that point.
Oh, really?
He's like, some people, this is what he said to me. He's like, some people will then, once they're on their prescription and they're happy with their prescription, they will then get moved back on, and that's where the shared care ends.
So maybe that's why I haven't then, because she said to me that in January, or I think it was January, that we're going to look at maybe taking me down a little bit.
Yeah.
So then maybe if that's a good one.
Because I guess
then-
once you're on the correct meds and the correct dosage and everyone's happy, there's no reason for that shared care anymore. It's just
The prescription rolling.
the continual
Yeah.
looking after and doubling, like checking obviously your weight, your blood pressure, everything
Yeah.
like that once in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah. But for the time being, until I go through titration
Yeah.
and find a happy place,
Yeah.
then I will continue to see this doctor.
So yeah. So there's more costs to come until you can get transferred over.
Yeah.
But that's good you can. I didn't even know that you could. So that's good.
Yeah, really good. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So thank you. And if you would like to donate to continued however many of these appointments there has to be, you can do so via our Buy Me a Coffee page, which is...
buymeacoffee.com/ADHD as females.
There you go.
And yeah, thank you so much, because genuinely this will change my life.
Yeah.
Like I was saying to friends yesterday that they say life begins at 40, and now I'm going to be 40 next year. And I imagine on meds by the beginning of next year at the very latest. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's just a brand new chapter. That's why we always congratulate anybody who's got their diagnosis. Like, it's not to discredit the fact that you're now on the late diagnosis roller coaster and you're going to have to go through the grief cycle, but as we see it, you kind of ping backwards and forwards depending on the day, depending on the hour. But it's because it is the start of a new chapter of your life in which you know what you're up against. You are finding the tools to support yourself. You've obviously already found more confidence to have been able to advocate for yourself to get to this point. And the fight is over, the limbo is over. So yeah, a new life begins.
That's it. And like I said to my psychiatrist last night, I've spent my whole entire adult life berating myself.
Yeah.
Telling myself that I'm inept, telling myself I'm useless, I'm lazy, I'm this, that, and the other, and really, like, obviously knocking myself down.
Yeah.
And to know that I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because one, I'm none of those things that I told myself I was.
You're battling a brain disorder.
Yeah, I've been battling a brain disorder my whole entire life unknowingly. And now I know, now I finally have the handbook, the tools that I need to actually have a decent life without all this self-hatred.
Yeah, the validation is invaluable completely. So we're very excited for this new chapter. In January, it will be a year since I got diagnosed.
I know.
Which is mental because obviously for the last 7 months, I've barely looked up from my phone apart from to talk into this microphone to do this. So it's flown by, really. And I look forward to talking a bit about that when the time comes up. I had to wait because there was discrepancies about shared care, so I didn't get on the meds quite so soon. It was March time when I started. But yeah, I find it mad that it has been that long, but then when I look back, I can see the difference in myself so much. So like, I'm gonna decorate the Christmas tree at the Fitty Village Hall this week coming. And it was a year ago, obviously, that I did that. And it kind of freaks me out. Like, it brings tears to my eyes to think about it. It freaks me out how much of a completely different person I am from last Christmas. Yeah, it's a different life.
I'm looking forward to that.
And look at how much you've achieved and, despite it all.
Yeah,
Dawn.
I know. I was sitting going through my head last night as well and sitting there thinking, I was like, you know what? Like, despite all this, I've not done badly. Like, granted, I've had many feelings. Many feelings.
That's part of life. There's no neurotypical person that hasn't either, you know?
But I've probably had more feelings than the average neurotypical person.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of college courses and stuff that I've started and not finished and all the rest of it, the hobbies, the tasks that I've started and not done and all of that. Like, I've had all these failings, but despite all these failings, I've still done some decent things.
You've done amazing
and I've still
things.
gotten, as far as I have. And like, I'm just excited to see what I'm going to be capable of now.
Absolutely. If you can do all this, battling it, think of what you can achieve with the support that's needed.
Yeah.
100%. And don't need to get the tattoo removed. Don't need to change the name of the podcast. And it's quite interesting as well, because alongside the fact that we've got that gap of medical diagnosis and treatment, on top of that, we've also got this difference in the kind of medication that we've been prescribed. So it'd be interesting to see how you get on with that and explore those differences and whether you want to stay on it or not, or do something else as we go along.
Exactly. So keep tuned. Stay tuned.
Keep tuned.
So
please.
stay.
Stay.
So stay tuned. And we'll keep documenting this journey.
But I think the pair of us just need to go and collapse in a heap. It's been pedaled to the metal, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you finishing up uni and us launching the community and everything because we desperately need to make it so that you don't have to work, so that we can put all of our energy into it. And so it has been like, I think it's like since October we launched the website. right?
It's just been
So it's 3rd of
non-stop.
October. So it's like October, build a website, sort it out, start with the orders, get the system in place, blah, blah, blah. Then it was the community.
Yeah.
You finishing uni. It was like, this is such a great idea. Let's start this now. Oh, what? When Dawn now has to do 2 assessments? Like, we are not very good at the logical side of things. And so then it's just been the most crazy couple of months. And literally, do you know what? It was Sunday. I was sat down and I had something to do. Like an email to reply to or a post I had to do. There was something ADHDAF related that I had to do in that instant. And I picked up my phone and I was just like, I'm too tired. And Big went, are you all right? And I started to weep. And little tears were, not like howl, but like tears were coming down my cheeks. And he went, what the hell has happened to you? And I was just like, I'm just really tired. I'm so tired. And I got so worried because I was thinking to myself, I realise now that I've spent 7 months running on like nervous energy.
Yeah.
Like this push. We've got to keep running. We've got to keep everything going. Next thing. And it's run out and I'm tired.
Yeah.
And it was suddenly like, oh my God, what happens if I don't keep going this hard, if I don't keep pushing this hard? And it's like, no, we've done it. It was all worth it. We've got amazing people that have joined our community. We're going to, hopefully you're going to stop work in January and we can start doing all the other things that we want to do to make this platform even better so that we can reach out to more people and together we can hopefully influence systemic change. And it's all happened and we've done it. We've battled all the obstacles and you're diagnosed and it's a fucking Christmas miracle. Isn't it?
It really is.
It really is.
Yeah. I said to one of my friends, I was like, I genuinely think this feels like the best Christmas ever.
Yeah, I agree.
It really, really does. And I'm so excited to see what my 40th year has in store for
our
me.
40th year.
Yeah, our 40th year, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we should probably go now because this is a bonus episode.
Yeah.
And we don't want to keep you too long.
But we do want to say, obviously, we know so many of you are in limbo. We know that so many of you are perhaps not even feeling confident enough to have to advocate for yourself. We shouldn't have to fight these battles. We shouldn't have to. But that's how it is right now. And we just want to say, like, we do understand and we have really fought our own battles and things do get better and you will get there. And big love to you.
Yeah, and hopefully now that I'm going to have my help and medication in place, I'll be able to, put more focus into this as well, and we can continue that fight for change.
Exactly that. And we will be back before the month is out to talk about how this time of year can be very triggering to ADHDers. We know that Christmas is not necessarily a happy time for everybody. So we just want to say, everybody, take care of yourselves. Like, we appreciate you. You are seen. You are heard.
And we'll keep fighting this fight for you.
Leopard army.
What?
Leopard print army.
Oh, I didn't have a clue.
Yeah, I'll shut up now.
Okay. Okay.
Congratulations, Dawn.
Thank you.
Bloody did it.
Thank you. And
yeah, join our community and come and chat to us. We would love to speak to you.
bye. Love you.
Bye. If you are finding this podcast helpful and you're in a position to do so, we are asking that you help us by signing up to our Patreon. In pledges starting at just £4 a month, it will give you access to our We Are ADHDAF community forum, in which we are both active members and we all support and learn from each other. You will also get access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusives, offers, blogs, vlogs, the works, everything in the kitchen sink. Your pledge will also mean that we will be able to continue to put out weekly episodes of ADHD as Females, the podcast.
Alternatively, if you would prefer just to make a donation, you can do so by visiting buymeacoffee.com/ADHD as females. We know that our words are helping people in 164 countries and counting.
We really appreciate your support in supporting us to continue supporting the ADHD community.
If you are ADHDAF and you want more ADHDAF, join the We Are ADHDAF community. www.patreon.com/ADHD as females.
ADHD as females. ADHDAF. ADHD as females. The podcast.